Let's welcome in the Powerhouse panel on this Monday morning. Political analyst Mark Halperin is here. Commentary editor at the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, is here, and Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps back with us this morning, joining us from the city of St. Louis. I wanted to play you this. Kelly, we'll start with you. Scott Gottlieb, and listen carefully. The doctor was on the Sunday shows, and he made the rounds. I mean, he was on like 4 of the shows yesterday. And he basically is implying, and he said this several times, that if you're not feeling well, but you're fully vaccinated, and that's 50% of America. All right, so 50% of Americans are fully vaccinated on this Monday, July the 19th. A little over 30% have already had coronavirus, so we're looking at a huge percentage of the American population. But he says that people who are fully vaccinated should still be getting tested. Take a listen.
I think at this point, we're probably undercounting how many infections there are in the United States right now, because to the extent that a lot of the infections are occurring in younger and healthier people who might be getting mild illness, they're probably not presenting to get tested. And to the extent that there are some breakthrough cases, either asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic cases in those who they're not presenting to get tested, because if you've been vaccinated, you don't think that you have the coronavirus, even if you develop a mild illness. And we're not doing a lot of routine screening right now. Unless you work for the New York Yankees, you're not getting tested on a regular basis.
Kelly, this is total madness. This is madness, okay? By the way, the New York Yankees that tested positive were totally asymptomatic. So when he puts fancy medicalese on it and says they weren't presenting as symptoms. Yeah. Totally asymptomatic people that have been vaccinated should not be getting tested for coronavirus. Think about how crazy that is just to say it right there like that on the surface.
No, it's panic porn. And Scott Gottlieb likes being on those news shows just like Anthony Fauci. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of their status if coronavirus, goes under the radar. But listen, 99% of the hospitalizations because of COVID-19 are those that are unvaccinated. If you are vaccinated, you are protected against the coronavirus, the Delta variants, and other variants. You might have some asymptomatic test positive, but you are still protected. You're asymptomatic. I just don't understand why everyone is so irrational here. Scott Gottlieb also said that he thinks that masks should return, but not the masks that we're wearing currently, because those are ineffective.
Right, the N95 masks. Yes.
And we've got the supplies, and everyone now should be walking around with an N95 mask. This has got to end. It's irrational, it's unreasonable, and it's not doing any good for the country.
Yeah, I wore one of those, Mark, those N95s on a plane about a year ago, first time flying during the virus. And they're apparently the most effective, but they've got a metal bar that goes right on your nose, on the bridge of your nose. They're extremely uncomfortable. So we had a physician on the show not long ago, and I asked him, and he said, oh my goodness. He goes, we'll wear those for the most invasive surgeries. If you have to, operate, cut somebody open, they'll wear those masks, but then they take them off immediately after because they're so uncomfortable. But Dr. Scott Gottlieb wants the American people to wear them. By the way, they're more expensive. He wants everyone to be wearing those around the streets now.
Rob, I'm going to take a slightly different view here.
Don't do it, Mark. Don't do it to me on a Monday. I can't right now.
First of all, I can't believe it's Monday, and I can't believe July is almost
Can you believe it? Here we are, July 19th. Where'd the summer go? I know.
Really can't believe
Dog
it.
days.
Look, I didn't love the way Gottlieb said it. I think you're right. He's spoken a lot of medical ease. But the reality is we are seeing an uptick. We're having trouble getting more people vaccinated. And it's pretty clear now that the vaccines are not 100% effective for people to continue to carry the disease and to spread it. So I'd like to end the pandemic and get people back to work. And I think taking steps to do that is sensible. We may not like some of the realities of where the science is or the ambiguity, but it is sitting before us right now as every state is seeing an uptick now.
Mark, we all want to get people back to work and get back to the offices and get back to the old normal. But Kelly, I like what you called it. What'd you call it? Panic porn?
Panic porn.
I think that's
was all over yesterday.
That perfectly describes it.
I'm like, whoa, I've had enough.
Mark, I agree with what you're saying. The premise of what you're saying, I think we can all get behind, okay? 50% of Americans are fully vaccinated. They've had both doses. Now we're hearing rumors about boosters. I'm going to ask Dr. Jha about that in a little while here on the show this morning. But the boosters are something that could happen. 30% of the population, or it's actually slightly more, has had coronavirus. There is a lot of Americans have been vaccinated, have had at least one dose. 50% have had 2. And he's telling you that if you are totally healthy and don't have any symptoms, like Giancarlo Stanton for the New York Yankees, you should still go out and get tested?
Well, maybe not mass testing.
That's a little inelegant,
way,
Mark. I think you could agree with that, right?
But I'm telling you, I hear about it every day in my personal life and in the news. You can be vaccinated and still have symptoms, still spread the disease. We've got to put an end to the disease. And we're right there. Let's be optimistic here. The country's done an incredible job, the development of vaccines, the distribution, but we're not there yet. And what we're doing is we're risking a fall full of setbacks when, with just a few changes, we could really be in a strong position to stop this, including the variants. It does require more testing, and it requires more masking, and it requires more people being aware. You can be fully vaccinated and still get the disease.
Careful with the masking, though, because the CDC, you go right to their website right now. They're still advising, they're saying that fully vaccinated people do not have to wear masks in any circumstances, unless it's federally mandated, like on an airplane.
But local authorities can make the decision. I'm not into masking. I understand why the American people are sick of it. And I think we can get to the point pretty soon where that's not necessary. But again, we see too many cases now of fully vaccinated people with symptoms or asymptomatic spreading the disease.
Mark, I've said it before. I saw somebody on a motorcycle, no helmet, but the guy was wearing a mask.
I know.
That's America
today. I want everybody back to work. Bottom line is I want everybody back to work.
Chris, I want to get I'm with you on that, Mark. Chris, I want to get your response. The Surgeon General was out there confronting misinformation. He spoke about this late last week, and we're just getting to it now. But I thought this was fascinating because the administration now is making an active effort to confront misinformation, the same misinformation that they were very much a part of before the new administration took over. Both President Biden and the Vice President said they were skeptical about these vaccines, largely because they were the Operation Warp Speed. Take a listen.
Surgeon General advisories are reserved for urgent public health threats. And while those threats have often been related to what we eat, drink, and smoke, today we live in a world where misinformation poses an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health. We must confront misinformation as a nation. Lives are depending on it.
Chris, I almost thought he was making President Trump's case for him there, his lawsuit against big tech and Section 230. Your thoughts?
You know, it's almost frightening to seeing big tech and the government colluding and trying to curtail our First Amendment rights, all under the guise of a pandemic. You know, Murphy was on the Sunday shows all yesterday talking about follow the science. We must follow the science. Well, Los Angeles County is reinstating masks. So it sounds like that we want people that are vaccinated to wear masks so they can protect us who aren't vaccinated. It's just all over the map. And I think the American people, as you said, are really just sick of it.
All right, panel, we'll pick this back up on the other side. We'll also get into winners and losers of the weekend and what you're watching for this week. Mark, you cannot say the Boston Red Sox. Okay, they've got three. They've got to play the Rays, they've got to play the Yankees, they've got to play the Blue Jays, all big divisional matchups. And you can't say the Olympics.
Can I say I can't believe it's almost August?
You can say that, yes. Panel, we'll see you guys right after the commercial break.